Hello my creative friends, welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today's video is a real-time drawing tutorial, just a fun little drawing of Bugs Bunny who is playing Ebenezer Scrooge in The Christmas Carol. I thought I would create this because my art date theme this week is Christmas Future, and the ghost of what is yet to come is showing Scrooge his grave that is unkept. If he doesn't change his ways, he will have an unkept grave and nobody will ever visit him. This makes a big impact on him and he changes his life. If you'd like to join along, I've left a link in the description below with a stencil that I created, as well as the list of supplies that I've used to create this drawing. And if you'd like to join in on the art date, just visit rainfrancisart.com. I'd love to see you there. So without further ado, here's the video. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. I'll see you next time. Bye! So these are the supplies that I'm using to draw my Bugs Bunny scene today. I have a dollar store drawing pad. I think they're up to $4 now. I use both sides if I can. Sometimes I can't because the marker shows through, but still $4 for a drawing pad. That's fine for me because my Bugs Bunny stuff, my Looney Tunes stuff is really just for fun for me. I'm not trying to sell it, you know. It doesn't have to be on high quality paper, so really dollar store brush to wipe away any bits that I need to wipe away. I've got my Prismacolor pencils, but you can use any colored pencils. I've got a series of blues here. I've got some grays and a black. Okay. The one thing that I would always recommend, though, is I go to Michael's once in a while, and they have this type of marker. It's an alcohol-based marker. Artist Loft is their brand. One side is like a paintbrush, and the other side is kind of like a highlighter. I never use the highlighter side, but I love this this paintbrush edge. I can really get in and do the details around Bugs Bunny's ears and his face with that. So I'll always use Artist Loft for Bugs Bunny. Actually, for Tweety Bird and Daffy Duck too, I always use those. They apply really well. I have just a pink marker for Bugs Bunny's ears and his nose. And these are also dollar store that I found. They're the same idea as the Artist Loft. They have, well, one end is just a fine tip marker, and the other end is a paintbrush, like this. They're not that great, but for this purpose they'll work. I have gray, I have red, and I have black. The red is going to be for Bugs Bunny's robe. The gray and black are probably going to be for the ghost, the Grim Reaper. I've got my 0.8 Fineliner Ink Pen. You can use a Fineliner Sharpie. I've got just a regular pencil, my eraser, and this beauty here, which is my Graphite transfer paper. I have fallen in love with it. So right here, I've drawn, I hope you can see it, I've drawn a little scene from A Christmas Carol, The Muppets Christmas Carol. This originally was Michael Caine, but it turned into Bugs Bunny, where the Grim Reaper, or the ghost of what has not yet come to pass, or the ghost of Christmas future, whatever you want to call it, comes to show Bugs Bunny his grave, and to let him know that he has to change his ways if he doesn't want an unkept grave, because I think that the message is, obviously he's not a very nice person as Ebenezer Scrooge, and if he continues his ways, he will not be remembered fondly. So I drew this from, I watched the Muppet Christmas Carol the other day, and I drew this. It took me a while, and that's why I don't show how I draw things on, I rarely show. Once in a while I'll show how I draw things, but it does take me a while. Like the grave was easy, and the robes and everything, but when I do Bugs Bunny, I have to really take my time doing him because I want him to be recognizable. So I drew this on a piece of paper, and I have it taped already onto my dollar store drawing pad. And just so you know, I have a little piece of computer paper underneath, because when you draw with markers on these dollar store drawing pads, they go right through, and you could ruin 3 or 4 pages. So make sure you put a little piece of paper underneath. And I'm going to take my graphite transfer paper, which I love, and I'm just going to go over it with my little pencil here. It's sharp. And I'm going to transfer my image onto my canvas. Now, I wasn't very careful with that one, but with Bugs Bunny, I'm going to be a little more careful. And I can't multitask when I'm doing detailed work, so I will be quiet for a few minutes. Maybe you could enjoy the sounds of my pets in the background if they make noise. My pencil is not, I'm out of lead on this one. Oh, I'm not prepared there. I have another one here. Okay, that one's nice and sharp. I'm pressing quite hard right now using the graphite transfer paper because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm transferring, and this is just for fun, like I said, if you are transferring an image onto your canvas that you want to turn into something like a commission, or that you're drawing that you want to sell or you want to give to somebody, try not to press too hard, because the black graphite transfer paper leaves medium that is very difficult to erase. So really be careful with that. I also use white graphite transfer paper for my charcoal drawings on black paper. It's awesome. All right, so that's done. Let me get rid of my paper here. And we have the basic stencil here. All right, now I'm going to take my ink pen and I'm just going to go over everything that I did. And I'm trying to be a little careful about following the line that I put in with the transfer, because like I said, it doesn't erase very well. When I'm doing my ink and graphite drawings, it doesn't really matter to me if, you know, these little lines here from the graphite paper show. But when I'm doing Bugs Bunny and Looney Tune drawings, I don't want these to show. And I will erase them, but you might notice if you use this paper, this transfer paper, that it doesn't really erase everything. So I'm being redundant here, but it's important to know that. Bugs Bunny looks so worried, doesn't he? That was the goal. I want him to look worried. I don't want him to have an unkept grave, because he's been a Scroogey kind of guy. You know, I'm especially careful I haven't been right there, but I'm trying to be especially careful with the areas that I know are white, such as Bugs Bunny's hands and this part of his face. Because, you know, the rest of him is gray and he's got some pink in his ears, and so I can kind of hide that if the graphite paper didn't erase very well, but in the areas where he's supposed to remain white, that doesn't really work. Okay. Now this Grim Reaper, I'm not being as careful as I was with Bugs because he is pretty much gray and black, so I'm just making sure that I get the basic shape of him. Except for this hand, I want to make sure that that finger is really well highlighted there, because that's basically giving us the composition of the page, right? We're not just looking at Bugs Bunny, we're wondering why we're looking at Bugs Bunny. Well, he's pointing to his grave, right? Okay. So I'm going to turn the video off for a few minutes because I have to let my ink dry before I start erasing. My ink is dry, so I'm going to just take a regular vinyl eraser and I'm going to just try to erase some of the graphite lines. I'm not going to press too hard in certain areas because this gravestone is going to be pretty dark, so it doesn't really matter, but if I went outside of my transfer lines on Bugs Bunny, I want to be very careful, especially, like I said, around the areas where I know he has white, like his hands, that I was not careful with. And Death's fingers here, I kind of want to keep white if I can, because I will be highlighting. Okay, I think that's good enough. There's a little spot, sorry about that, there's a little spot here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's very obvious to me that there's a graphite line there, and I can't get it off completely. So what can you do? Well, what can you do? You can press a little lighter. Alright, I'm going to start with Bugs Bunny. I've got my little pink here. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to grab my pencil. I always do his ears after the fact because sometimes when I'm transferring, when I transfer it's too thick and it doesn't work very well with his ears. So I want to make sure that they stand out properly. Okay, that's all right. I'm gonna, before I erase, I'm gonna let that dry and I'll work on the gravestone. So for the gravestone, I've got, well, let's see, I've got all of these Prismacolor pencils, and like I said, you can use any kind of, you know, colored pencils, it doesn't matter. The black I may or may not use. I'm thinking of the sky, you know, the whole background. I want it kind of dark because he's supposed to be in a graveyard. I've got indigo blue, which is any color of kind of a dark blue, purplish tone. And I've got denim blue, but that's also just, you know, I'm trying to combine the colors to make them look nice as the night sky. And for the grave, I thought about doing a series of, a mix of grays here. So I've got a warm gray at 90%, I've got a 10% warm gray and a 30% warm gray. They're all warm. I'll leave a list in the description if you want the exact Prismacolor pencil numbers, but really, if you have a gray or a mix of gray, that'll work very well. So let me start with, let's see, my darkest one, which is the warm gray, and I'm just going to go in and shade his gravestone. I'm working in circles here, or large ovals like this. I say this often, if you want to see lines in your blending, then draw straight lines. If you don't want to see lines, use circular motion, because you will see the lines when you blend. There are many ways to blend colored pencils. I use solvent a lot of the time, which is really neat because it makes it look very much like a painting. But when it comes to the Looney Tunes, I don't fuss too much about it. I just either leave it like this, because the focus is on Bugs Bunny for me, or I use different shades to blend. So you see how I'm holding my pencil like this, right? There's no pressure. I'm applying multiple layers, because if I press really hard, not only is my hand going to hurt, but I'm going to destroy my paper. The key to the key to colored pencil art, I think this is crooked, I'm sorry. The key to colored pencil art really is layers, and very light layers and multiple layers. You want to apply this is wax, Prismacolor Premier, Prismacolor Premier pencils are wax based, and you can't really apply much on top of them. I could probably get away with taking my ink pen and going over these lines again, but I've noticed that because of the wax, it doesn't work very well. So once you apply your Prismacolor pencil, don't assume that you can apply anything on top of it. So when you've decided you're using Prismacolor pencils for your drawing, for your colors or your shading, and you want it to look a little painterly, you can use solvent. I'll make a video about that one day. Actually, I have a video on how to draw Kermit the Frog, and I use solvent in that one. I'll link that below as well. Or you can use different pencils. Adding layers blends it at the same time, you see? Turning your pencil once in a while so you don't break the tip, and also so you don't wear it down on one side. And you don't have to sharpen it as much. In my other drawing videos, I focus a lot on shading and making sure it looks somewhat realistic, but you know, this is a cartoon, so I'm just having fun with it, and I hope you have fun with it too. I mean, enjoy. Drawing is supposed to be fun, not supposed to be hard or frustrating, you know? If it's frustrating for you, if you get impatient, then maybe this isn't the time for you to pick up your pencils. Okay, so I've got my lightest shade of gray here. I'm just going in, and you see how that's kind of blending it all? It's kind of cool how that works. You could also use a white color to blend it. There are also colorless blenders, which I have, but I don't have access to at the moment to show you. It looks like a pencil, but there's no, it looks white at the tip, but it's called a colorless blender, and it blends the Prismacolor pencils very well. It is from Prismacolor as well. I mean, yeah, it's from Prismacolor, the company. And I kind of like the way this is looking, you know? It's a gravestone. It's got that grainy kind of stony thing to it, so I'm leave it as is right now. And, whoops, did I mess up the, yes I did, hold on, there we go. And as you can see here, I made a mark there, I guess, when I dropped my pencil before, but I'll try to fix that after. Now, for Bugs Bunny's ears, the ink is probably dried by now, so I'm just going to erase my pencil marks. Because it's going to be pink, and his ears are pink. I don't want any pencil marks showing. So I've got my pink marker. Oh boy, butterfingers today. I have shaky hand syndrome usually, and now I have butterfinger hands syndrome. Okay. Filling in his ears with pink. Okay, and the next thing that's pink is his nose. Okay, we're done with the pink. I'm going to grab my my Artist Loft gray. It is number C4 Cool Gray. The great thing about going to Michael's is you can test out all of the markers. They have pieces of paper there, and you can test them out to see what gray is the best for you, for Bugs Bunny if you want. I used to have a C5, which was also a cool gray, but I found that the C4 is more like the color of Bugs. So I'm just going over his ears. All right, now once again, I cannot speak because I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I don't want to get his eyes gray. And I don't want to get this part of his face gray either. That's white. So. Whew, okay. Whew, pressure. Oh wait, there's a little spot that I missed here. This is part of his neck here. Okay. And that's gray here. Okay. We're done with the gray. Well, I might bring it back for the Grim Reaper, I'm not sure. Now, the next thing I want to do is Bugs Bunny's gown, and I did bring out this red color. I've got just a little scrap paper here. I'm going to see how that applies. It's very, very red. I don't think I like it. I'm going to stop the video and get some red Prismacolor pencils. I just went into my Prismacolor pencils and I chose 2 reds. I didn't even look at the shades of them. I just wanted, I mean, I didn't look at the name of them. I just wanted one that was kind of pinkish and one that was kind of red for his robe. This one is Magenta and this one is Crimson Red. So I'm going to start with the Crimson Red, and I'm going to go in and just fill in his robe. The places where I want to be careful are his hands and this part of his neck here. And he's got a little white, I guess a little t-shirt underneath there. I thought about using Daffy Duck as Ebenezer Scrooge here, but I think that Bugs Bunny works better because Bugs is such a stinker and he thinks that everything he does is fine, like Ebenezer Scrooge did. So maybe Bugs has to learn a little bit here. Maybe he'll be nicer to Daffy Duck after this. Somehow I doubt it. Okay, I'm going to take my second red, the magenta color. You can use any color you want. You can make his robe any color. You can make it blue, purple, it doesn't matter. But you see how that's blending really nicely? It's still a little grainy, but that's okay. I like that. Don't mind that at all. Okay, so I'm going to take my black color right now and I'm going to put in some shading very, very lightly. I mean, I'm really not going for realism here, but a little shading is nice. Okay, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my red color, which is the crimson red. I'm just going over that again. Just the areas where I put in the black. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go through the whole thing. Just another layer. I would like to put a little bit of shading here. Okay. Okay. You may notice that I didn't put Bugs Bunny's whiskers, and I always wait to do that for the last minute. There we go. Whiskers are done. And his little, I'm going to just grab a little yellow and just make his shirt yellow here, just to make it stand out from his neck. Okay, now we're on to the Grim Reaper. I've got my little dollar store marker here with the paintbrush end, and I'm going to make the Grim Reaper's face completely black. Okay. I've got my gray one. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to put Prismacolor pencils on top of this, so I'm not really looking to have this perfectly filled in. I just want to be careful of this hand. For now, I'm keeping it white. Okay, for now we're going to leave it like that. I'm going to go take my blues here. I have, like I said, I've got an indigo blue, that's the black. I've got a denim blue. I'm going to go over the entire background with the indigo blue. And I'm going over it kind of, well, not really too lightly. Because I want the background to be dark. This is supposed to be nighttime. I don't mind if I, you know, get into the gravestone a little bit. That does not bother me at all. Where I want to be careful is around Bugs's head. Normally speaking, when I do a Looney Tunes, I don't do the background, actually. I just leave it white, because it's supposed to be just a fun little cartoon, but this is a night scene. So I want to make sure I've got it all dark here and spooky. Don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while, like that. And as you can see, I'm not worrying that it's going into the ropes here. I'll be careful now, though. Very careful. And the tendency is to press a little harder in these areas for some reason, for me anyway. So I'm going very lightly so it's not obvious that I'm outlining his face here. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Okay. I've got my lighter blue. This is the denim blue, or any other blue that you have if you want to mix it in with a bunch of blues just to make a nice, interesting sky color. Again, I'm being careful right here. Okay. So let's fill in the Grim Reaper here with some of those grays. This is my medium colored gray. Just gonna fill all that in. I'm going to take my darker gray. This is the 90% warm gray that I used. And I'm just going to make a few little areas here to show that there are some creases in his hood, but also in his sleeve here. And I'm just gonna go for it and add the dark gray down here. Right, now I'm going to take the black and just add black to areas of his cloak that should be a little darker. I went out a little here, but I guess that doesn't matter. There we go. Fixed. Isn't it nice how the marker and the pencils, they all they blend in kind of really well together to make a nice, it looks like texture, you know? I'm lightly applying the black to his sleeve. Okay, now his glove isn't completely white. His glove is actually gray, so I've got my lightest gray color. This is the 10% warm gray. I am going over the whole glove here, or hand, I guess. And I've got the black, and I'm going to go in between the fingers, so they stand out a little bit. Putting a little black on the bottom fingers, and some more of that medium, or that dark gray also. Okay. I've got here what's called an acrylic painter pen. It's white acrylic paint. I'm just going to highlight his finger here. Just like that. And anywhere that you may have gone over the lines where you want it to remain white, you can kind of fix it up there. Okay? And also on the gravestone here, there's some snow. It's going to be very, very subtle because, like I said, not much applies very well on Prismacolor pencils. In fact, as you can see, it does not apply very well at all. So I'm going to look for my white. Actually, I've got a little peach color here, light peach. I'm going to see what that looks like. It gives a little bit of a different color. And I'm pressing hard, actually. I'm not doing layers here, but I'm just adding shading here. I kind of like this. This was totally spontaneous, which is not something I am usually. I like how that looks. I'm going to do the whole gravestone this with the peach. Actually, I'll just do about half. And then I'm going to go in with my light gray again. And blend the bottom half of the gravestone with more light gray. Okay, that looks good. I'm actually going to take my black and go over the sky a little bit. Not completely, I want the blue to still show. Okay. Nice. I went and got my white colored Prismacolor pencil because maybe I'm stubborn. I just want to I was hoping to be able to show a little bit of snow on this gravestone, but I don't think that's going to happen with the pencils. But look at what happens when you apply white. See, it kind of looks really nice. So I'm just going to do this around the grave, just so it stands out a little bit. See how it blends really well? You can use white to blend colors. I want it to kind of be like, in your face, Bugs. He's looking down and look at this. That's what's going on. Alright. This was a simple little, drawing, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. I'm just going to sign it. It's a lot of fun to do. I love doing my Looney Tunes. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions or if you want to see me draw something or show you how to draw something, please leave some comments. I like to read them and I love to reply to them. So until next time, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Bye.